In every human life, there comes a moment when you begin to sense that the world you were taught to believe in is not the world you truly experience. Carl Jung often spoke of awakening as the courageous journey of walking out of illusion and into the deeper, more authentic layers of the self. When you awaken, the first illusion that disappears is the illusion of control. For most of your life, you believe that if you plan enough, try hard enough, force outcomes, or cling tightly enough, everything will bend to your will. Yet awakening teaches you that life is not a machine to operate but a river to flow with. You begin to understand that surrender is not weakness, but the highest form of wisdom. You stop exhausting your soul with the pressure to dominate every moment, and you start moving with life instead of against it. In that moment, your anxiety softens, and a different kind of power rises within you, the power of trust, presence, and inner alignment. The second illusion that dissolves is the illusion of identity. All your life you wear masks, the mask of who your family wants you to be, who society rewards, who friends expect, who culture praises. You forget that these masks are costumes, not your essence. When awakening happens, you realize you are not your name, your job, your reputation, or your past. You are something deeper, something that cannot be labeled, captured, or defined. Jung called this the encounter with the self, the moment when you recognize that the most important relationship you will ever have is the one with your inner being. The false identities fall away, and you begin to live not for the world's approval, but for your soul's truth. The third illusion that fades is the illusion of perfection. We grow up believing that life must be neat, clear, and flawless for us to feel worthy. We chase a perfect body, a perfect career, a perfect partner, a perfect destiny. But awakening teaches you that perfection is a prison. It keeps you afraid to fail, afraid to try, afraid to be imperfectly human. When this illusion collapses, you stop performing for the world and start living for yourself. You understand that real beauty lies in authenticity, vulnerability, and growth. You stop hiding your flaws and start honoring your humanity. Instead of asking, "How do I become perfect?" you begin asking, "How do I become real?" The fourth illusion that disappears is the illusion of time. Before awakening, you are always living in the past or the future. You replay old stories, regrets, wounds, and mistakes, or you chase a future that never arrives, believing happiness is somewhere else, somewhere later. Awakening reveals the truth. The only place life exists is the present moment. The past is a memory, the future is a possibility, but the now is reality. Jung believed that when you step into the present, the soul finally breathes. You stop rushing, you stop running, you stop waiting for life to begin. You realize life is already here, already happening, already in your hands, and for the first time you feel alive. The fifth illusion that falls away is the illusion of separation. Before awakening, you feel isolated, separated from others, from nature, from purpose, from meaning. You believe you must walk alone, fight alone, and survive alone. But awakening shows you that every person you meet is a mirror, a teacher, a reflection of some part of your inner world. You begin to see the invisible threads that connect all humanity. You understand that your light affects others, and their wounds reveal your own. Loneliness turns into solitude, and solitude turns into inner connection. You realize you are not separate from life. You are an expression of it. The sixth illusion that dissolves is the illusion of fear. Most of the fear you carry was never yours to begin with. It was given to you by society, by upbringing, by painful memories, and by imagined futures. Awakening teaches you that fear is a story, not a destiny. As your awakening deepens, something extraordinary begins to happen inside you. You stop chasing life, and life starts rising to meet you. You stop begging for validation, and the right people begin to recognize your worth without you ever having to prove it. You stop running after opportunities, and the opportunities that match your energy begin to find you. This is the silent transformation that happens when you step out of illusion and into your true self. When you awaken, you no longer move from desperation. You move from alignment. You no longer pursue what drains you. You pursue what elevates you. And slowly, the life that once felt heavy, unfair, or confusing begins to unfold with a sense of flow, purpose, and clarity. You start noticing that your energy is your greatest currency. The people who once drained your spirit no longer have access to your inner world. The voices that once intimidated you no longer hold power over your choices. You begin choosing peace over approval, growth over comfort, truth over convenience. This is the moment your soul steps into leadership. Life no longer feels like something happening asterisk to asterisk you. It becomes something rising asterisk through asterisk you. Every challenge becomes a lesson. Every failure becomes a redirection. Every ending becomes a beginning. You realize that nothing in your life was wasted. Everything was shaping you into the person you were meant to become. Awakening also teaches you the art of letting go, not with bitterness, but with strength. You stop gripping the things that hurt you, believing they define you. You stop holding onto relationships that shrink your spirit, thinking they are your only chance at happiness. You stop carrying the weight of old stories that no longer match who you are today. Letting go is not losing. Letting go is making space. Space for new opportunities. Space for healthier connections. Space for the next version of yourself to rise. You become lighter because you finally understand that you cannot carry your past into your future and expect to grow. And then something even deeper happens. You begin to trust your inner voice more than the noise of the world. This is one of the greatest transformations of awakening. You stop asking others what your life should be. You stop seeking permission to dream, permission to change, permission to evolve. You realize no one else can see the vision planted inside you. No one else can feel the fire burning within you. No one else can walk the path meant for you. You begin to honor your intuition, that quiet but powerful force that has always whispered the truth. And every time you listen to it, your life aligns just a little more beautifully. As you awaken further, you start to understand that peace is not something you find. It is something you create. Peace comes when you stop fighting your reality, when you stop punishing yourself for things you could not control, when you forgive yourself for choices you made while you were still learning, healing, surviving. Jung taught that the greatest battle is not with the world, but within the self. And when that inner conflict dissolves, your life becomes lighter, clearer, calmer. More of your energy goes toward building your future instead of replaying your past. More of your strength goes toward growth instead of pain. More of your time goes toward love instead of fear. And finally, a moment arrives where you look at yourself, truly look, and realize how far you've come. You realize the person who once doubted everything now stands with a heart full of courage. The person who once felt lost now walks with intention. The person who once felt broken now carries wisdom in every scar. This is the miracle of awakening. You become someone you once thought you could never be. Someone powerful, someone grounded, someone whole. Awakening doesn't take you away from the world. It brings you back to yourself. And once you come home to yourself, nothing can shake your foundation again. As you move deeper into your awakening, you begin to understand that life is not happening outside of you. It is happening through you. Every thought you nurture, every belief you hold, every emotion you avoid or embrace, shapes the world you walk through. You no longer look at circumstances as random chaos, but as mirrors reflecting your internal state. When you were filled with fear, life echoed fear. When you were filled with doubt, life reflected doubt. But now, as the fog clears and your consciousness rises, life begins to match the strength you are stepping into. This is why transformation feels like rebirth. The world changes because you have changed. For the first time, you recognize that your inner world is the architect of your outer experience. Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. And now, each day you awaken, you feel pieces of your unconscious rising to the surface, dissolving, transforming, freeing you from invisible chains you didn't know were holding you down. You start noticing that the opinions that once controlled you no longer have the same weight. You used to shrink yourself to fit the expectations of people who never truly understood your depth. You used to silence your voice to keep the peace, even when the silence was breaking your spirit. But awakening gives you a spine made of courage and a voice shaped by truth. You learn that living small does not protect you, it limits you. You stop giving your power away to those who were never meant to guide your path. You stop apologizing for your boundaries, your dreams, your desires, your vision. Instead, you rise into them, and in that rising, you discover a strength that had been sleeping within you for years. A strength that does not ask for permission. a strength that does not need validation, a strength that comes from knowing who you are and who you refuse to be again. Awakening teaches you that people enter your life for reasons your mind cannot understand at first. Some arrive to challenge you, some to heal you, some to love you, and some to awaken you. Even the painful connections reveal something essential about your soul. The betrayal shows you the value of trust. The rejection reveals your need for self-worth. The heartbreak teaches you the power of resilience. Every soul that crosses your path leaves fingerprints on your destiny, shaping you into a wiser, sharper, stronger version of yourself. Before awakening, you cling to people out of fear, fear of being alone, fear of not being enough, fear of losing love. But after awakening, you choose people from power, from clarity, from alignment, from truth. You no longer chase those who walk away. You no longer beg to be seen. You no longer wait for someone else to choose you. You choose yourself, and when you do, the people meant for you begin to appear with startling clarity, because your energy finally speaks the truth of who you are becoming. As the illusions continue to fall away, you start to feel a profound shift in your relationship with the past. You once lived haunted by memories, trapped by old wounds, replaying moments that kept you emotionally frozen. But awakening teaches you something that changes everything. The past cannot hurt you unless you keep returning to it. What happened is no longer happening. The pain you carry is not the pain itself, it is the attachment to the memory of it. When you realize this, you begin the sacred work of release. Not forgetting, not suppressing, but releasing. You honor the chapters that shaped you without allowing them to define you. You take the lessons, the strength, the wisdom, and you leave behind the weight. This is the moment you reclaim your power. This is the moment you stop being a prisoner of yesterday and become the creator of your tomorrow. Awakening also transforms your relationship with struggle. Before, you saw struggle as a sign of failure, a punishment, an unfair burden. One of the most profound changes that awakening brings is the shift from seeking love to becoming love. Before, you believed love was something you had to earn, chase, or prove yourself worthy of. But awakening teaches you that love begins inside you. When you heal your wounds, love flows more freely. When you honor your boundaries, love becomes healthier. When you accept yourself, love becomes more authentic. You stop begging for the bare minimum because you finally understand your worth. You stop settling for half-hearted connections because you know your soul deserves something deeper. You stop giving unlimited access to those who have not earned it. You begin to love yourself so fully that anyone who enters your life must meet you at that level. This is the love awakening brings, not the love that breaks you, but the love that builds you. As you continue expanding into your consciousness, you start to feel an inner confidence that does not depend on external validation. You trust your choices, you trust your timing, you trust your evolution. You understand that you are not behind, you are not late. You are arriving at exactly the right moments because your journey is unfolding with precision. You stop comparing your path to others because you recognize that your soul has its own rhythm, its own purpose, its own timeline. Comparison fades, jealousy dissolves, insecurity weakens. You become grounded in your own identity, no longer shaken by the success or opinions of others. This is the calm confidence that comes from awakening strong, quiet, unshakable. You also begin to understand the power of presence. You stop rushing through life. You stop living in your mind. You stop hiding in the future. Awakening pulls you into the now, into the breath, into the moment you are living. You start to feel gratitude for simple things, the warmth of sunlight, the sound of your heartbeat, the peace of a quiet morning, the strength you carry into each day. For the first time in a long time, you feel alive, not because everything is perfect, but because you are present for your own existence. This presence becomes your superpower. It eliminates anxiety rooted in the future and pain rooted in the past. When you live in the present, nothing can dominate your peace. And then comes the most powerful realization of all. You are the creator of your life, not a victim of it, not a passenger, not a spectator, a creator. Your thoughts sculpt your emotions sculpt your actions sculpt your destiny. Awakening is the moment you reclaim authorship of your story. You stop waiting for someone to save you, because you realize you are the one you have been waiting for. You stop waiting for the right moment, because You understand that every moment is right when you decide to rise. You stop waiting for permission, because you know your soul's calling is the only permission you will ever need. At this stage of awakening, you realize how powerful you truly are. The fears that once controlled you lose their grip. The doubts that once limited you fall silent. The negativity that once drained you can no longer reach you. You begin to move with clarity, speak with truth, live with purpose. You begin to embody the highest version of yourself, confident, conscious, compassionate, courageous. You understand now that awakening is not about becoming someone new. It is about returning to who you were before the world taught you to doubt yourself. It is about remembering your strength, your purpose, your power, your light. You are not becoming awakened. You are remembering your awakened self. And as this chapter of your journey unfolds, you step into a life that feels deeply aligned with your soul. A life where you don't chase. You attract, you don't beg, you choose. You don't fear, you trust. You don't crumble. You rise. Every day becomes a new moment of transformation, a new opportunity to step further into your truth. And as we reach the final pulse of this journey, I want you to understand something that most people never realize in their entire lifetime. The moment you begin to awaken, the universe rearranges itself around you. It's not magic, it's not coincidence. It's the natural response of a world that finally recognizes the strength rising inside you. Throughout this entire path, you have walked through the storms that once scared you, faced the fears that once controlled you, and shattered the identities that never truly belonged to you. And because of that, you are no longer the same soul who started this journey. You are someone who has tasted truth. You've learned that the greatest battle was never with the world outside, but with the limitations inside your own mind. You've learned that silence is not weakness, that empathy is not vulnerability, that sensitivity is not fragility, and that your heart, the very thing people told you to hide, is actually the source of your strength. You've learned that your wounds were not signs of defeat, but the gateways into your deepest wisdom. And now you stand here, not as a victim of life, but as a master of yourself, the old version of you, the one who tolerated disrespect, who carried unspoken pain, who sacrificed their peace to keep others comfortable, no longer exists. This transformation is not loud, not dramatic, not something you need to prove to anyone. It is quiet, sacred, and deeply rooted within you. Will become greater, challenges will still come, but you will meet them with a mind that no longer fears the unknown. People may still misunderstand you, but you will no longer bend yourself to fit into places your soul has already outgrown. You will choose peace over chaos, healing over history, growth over comfort, and purpose over approval, because once you awaken, returning to the smaller version of yourself becomes impossible. You have seen too much, you have grown too much, you have risen too far. And this rising is not temporary, it is the beginning of your evolution. From here, you walk with new clarity, a deeper intuition, and a presence that commands respect without ever demanding it. You become the kind of person whose silence is powerful, whose energy speaks before their words, whose boundaries are strong, whose heart is open but protected. You become someone who transforms rooms simply by entering them. And most importantly, you become someone who understands their own worth without needing anyone to validate it. Your destiny from this moment forward unfolds with a different rhythm, a rhythm shaped not by fear, but by intention, a rhythm guided not by confusion, but by clarity, a rhythm propelled not by the expectations of others, but by the voice of your own higher self. And as you continue to evolve, you will attract people aligned with your truth, opportunities aligned with your purpose, and experiences aligned with your growth. You will stop chasing what was never meant for you, because what is meant for you will begin to flow toward you effortlessly. And this is the real gift of awakening. Life stops being something that happens to you and becomes something that rises with you. So carry this transformation like a flame, not a flame that burns you, but one that lights your path. Protect your energy like a sacred temple. Honor your boundaries like the walls of your inner kingdom, and walk forward with the understanding that you are no longer merely existing. You are becoming. You are stepping into the strongest, wisest, most aligned version of yourself. This is your rebirth. This is your rise. And from this moment on, the universe will meet you at the level you meet yourself. So breathe deeply, hold your head high, and step into your future with the quiet confidence of someone who finally knows who they are. Your story does not end here. Your story begins here, and the world has no idea how powerful you are about to become.